Are you a healer or a breaker, chosen one? This one thing reveals everything. There are moments in life where the noise of the world stops, not because the outside becomes quiet, but because something inside you grows louder. That voice, that deep, silent force, it's not imagination, it's not ego. It's the ancient whisper of your soul, reminding you that you were never here to be average. You were never meant to walk the same path as everyone else. You were designed, encoded, chosen, but the question that haunts you now is this: were you chosen to heal or to break? And what if, in the deepest truth, these two paths are not separate, but intertwined in a way that only those with awakened eyes can see? We live in a world addicted to labels: good or bad, light or dark, healer or destroyer. But the universe doesn't operate on such binaries. It moves in spirals, in paradoxes, in sacred contradictions. And so do you. If you've ever felt like you carried both peace and fire within your chest, if you've ever been the one to comfort others while secretly battling your own storms, then this message is for you. Because not all chosen ones are here to soothe. Some are here to shatter illusions so new realities can emerge. Some are not here to comfort the world, but to confront it.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
But how do you know which one you are? That's the mystery we're about to unravel. You see, the key lies not in what you do, but in what you can't ignore. Your alignment, your purpose, your path. It reveals itself in what you're pulled toward without explanation. Some of you are drawn to the broken, to the wounded, to the spaces where pain lingers like smoke after a fire. You find yourself naturally picking up the pieces, holding space, offering light. That's not weakness. That's medicine. That's the mark of a healer, but not one who simply fixes. You're the kind of healer who activates. You don't just soothe pain, you awaken people to their own power. And that is sacred. And yet, there are others, maybe you, who walk into a room and the energy shifts, not because you bring calm, but because your presence demands truth. You're not here to maintain peace, you're here to disrupt the false peace that keeps people asleep. You question everything, you challenge systems, you break people's comfort zones wide open, not out of malice, but because somewhere deep inside you know that growth requires collapse. That true transformation is born not in safety, but in the cracking open. That's the mark of a breaker, not a destroyer, but a sacred dismantler. And here's where it gets wild: you might be both. Because some of the most powerful souls on this planet are both healers and breakers. They are the storm and the stillness. They break down illusions and then heal what remains. They tear through lies and then teach people how to live in truth. You might be someone who has had to destroy your own identity just to find your real self. Someone who's walked away from everything safe in order to walk towards something sacred. If that's you, then listen closely, because this next truth is going to hit deep. There is one thing, one experience that reveals whether you're a healer, a breaker, or both. It's not found in your profession, your personality type, or your horoscope. It's found in how you respond to chaos. When the world around you falls apart, when relationships collapse, when systems fail, when the truth is too loud to ignore, do you instinctively move to hold, to guide, to bring light into the darkness? Or do you feel the surge, the fire, the urge to flip the table, to disrupt the lie, to pull the mask off and say, "This ends now"? That's the key. That's the compass of the chosen ones. Healers move to stabilize the soul in chaos. Breakers move to ignite the chaos that reveals the soul. Neither is better, both are sacred, but the difference is important. Because if you try to heal when you were born to break, you'll feel like you're suffocating in politeness. You'll hold back your truth, afraid it's too much, too intense, too loud. And if you try to break when you were born to heal, you'll feel like you're constantly burning bridges that were meant to be restored. So ask yourself, what happens in your body when truth enters the room? Not the comfortable kind, but the kind that shakes the walls. Do you feel the urge to calm, to bring peace, to hold space with compassion, or do you feel the need to speak, to confront, to challenge what no one else will? That's not just personality, that's frequency. That's purpose. That's the role your soul chose before you even took your first breath in this lifetime. And here's the twist most people never see coming. The healer and the breaker are often forged in the same fire, pain. The healer knows pain because they've soothed their own wounds. The breaker knows pain because they've had to destroy what once kept them small. Both paths are born from deep, soul-level suffering. That's why chosen ones often feel like outsiders, like they've lived 1,000 lives in one, like they're carrying memories, emotions, and wisdom that can't be explained logically, because they are. You're not here by accident. You're not watching this by chance. This is your activation, your remembrance. You've been wondering why you feel so heavy and so powerful at the same time, why you can't fit into the boxes others seem comfortable living in, why your path has been anything but easy. It's because you're not meant for ease. You're meant for impact, and impact comes through clarity. So here's your challenge. Look back at your life and trace the patterns. When people came to you, what were they seeking? When situations exploded, what role did you instinctively play? Did you offer light, language, and love? Or did you offer truth, tension, and transformation? Or maybe both? Because if you're both, then you are walking the razor's edge of spiritual power. You are a rare frequency. You are the soul that enters rooms and shifts timelines. Not because you try, but because you are. And now you have a choice. You can keep doubting yourself, keep trying to shrink into roles that don't fit, or you can finally own the truth. You are here to either heal the broken or break the illusion, or both. But you cannot stay silent. What would happen if you stopped holding back? What would happen if you chose to become exactly what your soul has been preparing for your entire life? That's not a hypothetical, that's your next step. The sacred mirror. How the world reacts to you reveals who you truly are. The universe never lies. It speaks in reflections, in synchronicities, in the way people respond to your presence before you even open your mouth. If you've ever wondered who you truly are beneath all the labels, the projections, the confusion, look around you. Look at how the world reacts when you walk into a room, when you speak your truth, when you do nothing at all but simply exist. Because here's the deepest truth most people never realize. The world is your mirror. And it doesn't reflect your ego. It reflects your frequency. Some people make others feel safe. Just being near them softens the energy. You've probably met someone like that. Or maybe you are that person. You walk into a chaotic space and without trying, people feel calmer. They breathe easier. They open up. They confess things they haven't told anyone. That's not random. That's your aura doing the work. That's the healer in you being seen, even when you're silent. because you carry a vibration that says, it's okay now. Not because you fix people, but because your presence reminds them they're not broken in the first place. But there's another kind of reaction people have, a more intense, sometimes even hostile one. You walk into a room and suddenly the energy feels charged. People get defensive. Some avoid eye contact. Others become strangely agitated. You haven't said a word, but something about you unsettles them. That's not your fault. That's your power. Because when you're a breaker, your energy doesn't soothe, it activates. You stir the parts of people they've buried. You reflect the truths they've tried to forget. And that mirror? It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Let's go deeper. Think about the people who've come and gone from your life, the ones who were drawn to you in their darkest moments, the ones who clung to your light until they couldn't handle the reflection anymore. Were they looking for healing, or were they fearing what you'd reveal about them? Sometimes people love the healer in you until they realize healing requires change. Sometimes they admire the breaker in you until they realize breaking illusions means shattering their illusions too. And so they leave. They misunderstand you. They call you intense, too much, too serious. But what if all those reactions weren't rejections? What if they were confirmations? What if the way people respond to your energy is the universe showing you exactly who you are? This is the sacred mirror, pure, honest, and sometimes brutal. It doesn't flatter the ego. It doesn't care about politeness. It simply reflects. If your presence brings people clarity, comfort, or confrontation, that's your soul in action. That's your essence reverberating through space. And once you start seeing this clearly, everything changes. You stop trying to explain yourself. You realize, I'm not here to be understood. I'm here to be myself, fully. And those who are ready to meet you at your level will rise. The rest will fall away. And that's divine alignment, not loss. Let me ask you something that pierces the veil. What if every painful goodbye in your life was actually the universe protecting your path? What if the people who couldn't handle your truth were never meant to walk your journey to completion? What if the discomfort you cause in others is the exact disruption their soul has been crying out for, but their ego couldn't handle? You see, being a chosen one, whether healer, breaker, or both, is not about being liked, it's about being aligned. And alignment often looks like contradiction to those who haven't met themselves yet. So instead of asking, why do people react to me this way, ask, what is my energy awakening in them? Because whether you are a soothing balm or a sacred fire, you are awakening. You are reflecting, you are triggering the exact frequency their soul either craves or fears. That is your role. That is your gift, and it's time you stop apologizing for it. The world needs both. It needs the healers who can hold a shattered heart like a sacred artifact, and it needs the breakers who can tear down the false temples built on ego, fear, and illusion. Maybe you've been both all along. Maybe that's why your life has been one long initiation, so you could learn how to hold the sacred mirror not just for others, but for yourself. Because the final test of who you are is not how the world reacts to you, but how you react to the mirror the world holds up. When someone misunderstands you, do you shrink, or do you stand taller in your truth? When someone projects their pain onto you, do you internalize it, or do you see it as a reflection of their own unhealed wounds? This is mastery. Not the ability to control how others see you, but the ability to remain unshaken in who you know yourself to be. You are not here to make everyone comfortable. You are here to be a living mirror of sacred truth. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply be, and let your energy do the work that words never could. So, the next time someone reacts to you, whether with gratitude or resistance, don't rush to fix it or fear it. Pause, observe, understand, and ask yourself, what am I reflecting right now? And is it time to heal or break? Because once you see yourself clearly in the sacred mirror, you'll never question your role again. The alchemy of shadow, why embracing your darkness is the key to unlocking your true power. There is a truth so few dare to look at, and yet it is the root of all transformation. Your power does not just come from your light, it comes from your shadow. The parts of you you've hidden, suppressed, denied, or feared. Those are not mistakes. They are not shameful, they are not weaknesses. They are keys, sacred keys. And until you stop running from them, you'll never fully unlock who you are. You'll only ever live a half-life, a curated version of yourself that others can accept, but your soul cannot. We've been taught to fear the dark, to associate it with danger, with evil, with wrongness. But the darkness within you is not your enemy. It is the womb of your becoming. It is the space where your most potent gifts are buried. Rage, grief, jealousy, desire, fear. These are not signs that you've failed. They are signals, invitations. They are the raw materials of your spiritual alchemy. And until you're brave enough to descend into them, to feel them without judgment, to own them, you will always be fragmented. You will always be leaking energy, trying to hold up a mask that says, I'm only light. But you are not only light, you are the full spectrum, and there is no awakening without descent. Every chosen one, healer or breaker, must travel through their own underworld. That's not a punishment, that's a rite of passage. Because only by facing your own darkness can you hold space for the darkness of others without flinching. Only by transmuting your own shadow can you become a clear channel of truth, of power, of purpose. Think about it. The people who move you the most, the ones whose presence feels powerful and grounded, they've been somewhere. They've faced parts of themselves that most run from. They've cried in silence, screamed in the dark, questioned everything, and they came back not perfect but real. That's what gives them presence. That's what gives them depth. And that's what's waiting for you if you're willing to stop pretending that light means perfection. You don't become powerful by avoiding your pain. You become powerful by integrating it. That's what alchemy truly is. Not turning lead into gold, but turning your wounds into wisdom, turning your trauma into tools, turning your shadow into sovereignty. And that requires honesty, radical honesty. It requires you to admit where you're still hiding, still blaming, still afraid. Not to shame yourself, but to liberate yourself. Because the truth is, your shadow is not what's holding you back. Your resistance to it is. Every time you deny a part of yourself, you give it more control. Every time you pretend you're fine when you're breaking inside, you reinforce the illusion, and illusions are prisons. But when you bring your truth into the light, when you say, yes, I'm angry, yes, I'm scared, yes, I've hated parts of myself, something shifts, a door opens, and behind that door is freedom. And here's the secret most never speak aloud. Your shadow is often where your greatest gifts are hidden. The anger you've suppressed, it might be your fire, your drive, your boundary. The grief you've buried, It might be your depth, your compassion, your ability to connect. The fear you've avoided, it might be your intuition, your inner compass, your sacred protection. Nothing in you is wasted. Nothing is random. Every part of you exists for a reason. The question is, will you face it or will you keep running? Because the longer you run from your shadow, the more you'll project it onto others. You'll see in them what you refuse to see in yourself. You'll judge them, resent them, fear them. Not because of who they are, but because of what they reflect. But when you own your shadow, you reclaim your projections. You stop needing others to be the villain or the savior. You realize it was always me, all of it, all along. So if you want to know whether you're a healer or a breaker, look at how you handle your own darkness. Do you avoid it, spiritualize it, bypass it with positive quotes and fake smiles? Or do you meet it with presence? Do you sit in it, breathe through it, allow it to teach you? Because the more shadow you integrate, the more whole you become. And wholeness is power. Not loud, performative power, but quiet, unshakable knowing. This is the alchemy of shadow. It's not pretty, it's not easy, but it is real, and it is the doorway to your true self, not the self you show the world, the self that's been waiting patiently, silently for you to come home. The final choice, how to fully step into the path you were born to walk. There always comes a moment, a quiet, irreversible moment, a crossroads where everything you've learned, everything you've felt, and everything you've become demands to be lived, not studied, not contemplated, lived. This is the final choice, and no one can make it for you. You either step into the life that has been calling your name from the other side of your fear, or you continue to circle the same patterns, the same questions, the same pain, hoping for change without ever choosing it. You already know who you are. Deep down, beneath the noise, beyond the doubt, you do. You've always known, not in words, but in the ache, in the moments of quiet when your soul speaks before your mind interrupts. You've been given glimpses of your power, your vision, your role in this world. And maybe you've run from it. Maybe you've convinced yourself you're not ready, not good enough, not strong enough. Maybe you've waited for a sign, a perfect moment, someone to validate what you already feel to be true. But here's the truth. You are the sign. You were never meant to wait for the world to crown you. You were meant to crown yourself. And that begins with one sacred decision: to stop pretending you're not powerful, to stop minimizing your gifts, to stop betraying your soul for comfort, for approval, for belonging in places that were never meant to hold you. Because the path you were born to walk is not paved by others, it's carved by your courage. It's made real by your willingness to take the next step, even when you can't see the whole road. Whether you are a healer, a breaker, or both, your purpose is not something outside of you. It's not a title or a career or a role you perform. It's a frequency you embody. It's the way your presence shifts the energy in a room. It's the way your truth disrupts or soothes. It's the way you remember who you are in a world that constantly wants you to forget. And the moment you say yes to that remembrance, everything begins to align. Not instantly, not without resistance, but inevitably. But you must choose. You must say yes to the path, even if it terrifies you, especially if it terrifies you. Because that fear isn't proof that you're unworthy, it's proof that you're standing at the edge of something real. The ego fears what it cannot control, but the soul knows. And your soul is not afraid. It's been waiting. It's been preparing you through every heartbreak, every loss, every detour. Nothing was wasted. Not one moment. It was all training. It was all initiation. And now you stand at the threshold. So what will you do? Will you shrink just one more time and tell yourself the story that keeps you safe but small? Or will you rise? Will you let the healer in you speak the language of light, even when the world prefers silence? Will you let the breaker in you tear down illusions, even when it costs you comfort? Will you live the life that your soul has been screaming for, in dreams, in signs, in synchronicities? Or will you keep pretending you don't know what you already know? This is the final choice, not to become someone new, but to finally be who you've always been, fully, unapologetically, unshakably, because when you do, the world will shift around you. You won't chase alignment, it will arrive. You won't beg to be seen, you'll become undeniable, not because you force it, but because you embody it. And maybe, just maybe, your courage will awaken someone else. Maybe your choice to rise will give others permission to do the same. That's how the new world is built, not by waiting for it, but by becoming it. So here we are. The moment has arrived. The question is not, are you ready? The question is, will you answer the call? Because the healer, the breaker, the chosen one, you've always been. Now it's time to become